Good afternoon, evening, night, or morning, whatever it may be for you. Um, I am tired. I am awake. It's currently Friday morning, 6:30. Happy Halloween. Oh, yesterday was October 30th, 20, 25. And um, yeah, so um Thursdays are rehearsal days. So we're working on good old Richard the Third, Bill Shakes, of course. And first, um, we I wrote down all the scenes we did. We added a new one, but we're doing Act One, Scene One, Act One, Scene Two, Act One, Scene Three, which I'm in. Act One, Scene Four, Act Two, Scene Two was the one we added. I'm in. Act 2, Scene 2, Act 3, Scene 7, which I'm in, Act 4, Scene 1, Act 4, Scene 4, Act 4, Scene 5, and then Act 5, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Edited, but all of those. And I'm in 1 and 2, I think. 1 is when I die. 2 is when I'm a ghost. I get the coldest ghost line. I don't know if I read it yesterday. I don't remember. I read it to somebody. That was good stuff. The first was I that helped thee to the crown, the last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle think on Buckingham, and die in terror of thy guiltiness. Dream on of bloody deeds and death, fainting despair, despairing yield thy breath. It's a good line. It's also the one right before he wakes up and he's like, ooh, am I an awful guy? Am I evil? Ooh. Um, yeah. But I get my character a little more. Buckingham is Richard's right hand man, and he's doing stuff. um, I am tired. Shoot. Shout out Sandridge. I don't know how well you can really see that. Uh, um, yeah. So what we did the whole time is we just finished reading through the play because we only got through Act One, Scene Two, on Tuesday. So we just finished reading through the play and we talked about it. And George is going to be our voice support vocal person, vocal coach through the play. And so he joined us for the second half after lunch. But yeah, I'm just going to read my notes. I don't have a ton, and this video is going to be pretty short. So you're welcome, Jado. So we warmed up, we walked to space, we practiced our backwards things where clap if she says jump, clap if she says clap, jump if she says stop, go if she says go, stop. Um, Then we kind of like rubbed our body, woke our body, shook it out. We did a stretch to music, starting with our necks. And then I was like left, right, down, left, right, up, down, right, left, up, down. Kind of those sorts of things. Um, yeah, we just kind of shook it out. I was getting our voice involved as well. Then we walked to space again, as you do. And our goal was to speed up together, like as an ensemble, just increase like our group awareness to speed up and then slow down together to a stop and then begin together. And it was the best we'd done it. It was interesting. I was fascinated on why. I don't know if it was because we had music playing, and so that for me made it difficult to kind of feel people out more. So I was trying extra hard. I don't know if it's because it was a newer group. Like there's only five of us from Group B, a third. Go figure. So a third of us is from group A, B, and C. And so since we don't know each other and haven't done a lot with each other, we were extra attentive in doing that. Or I had another thought of the reason why it might have been. I'm not remembering now. Maybe it's just time. We've gotten better at it, or um, yeah. Um, um, um. Oh, then we looked at this video of this kind of Middle Eastern traditional singing, which is just this kind of very, I don't want to say the wrong word. The words that are coming to me are like tribal or primitive, but it's just like really original, really prehistoric. This is, it's kind of like runs. I can't do it. I would feel offensive if I tried, but it's just that kind of sort of idea. And then seeing how it's so similar with like different places. It's like Georgia, the country, the Balkans, India, um, Arabic, and how they're all these similar. And then finally, like with pop, how you have these runs and they're all similar, and it's just like this human sound. And Kirsty really wants to kind of like touch into that and have these kind of wails and not like the animal, but like what wailing, because there's so much death in this play. Um, yeah. And we continue to read through. Something that was important to remember is that like that posh really creation and establishment of propriety comes with the Victorians, right? During the Victorian era is where polite society was established. The pre-Victorian, the Elizabethans and Jacobeans were gritty and sexual and brutal and raw, and but they were still like super intelligent and witty, but it had this not grotesque, but this to it, like, just as they were. um yeah, and we started with the scene. Yeah, let me walk you through the play a little bit. Beginning, Richard just like, oh, my life has been awful. My family's hated me. I'm deformed. I guess I'll be the villain if they want me to be. And then his brother Clarence is like, man, our brother the king, Edward, is putting me in jail. And it's like, yeah, dude, that sucks. And then once Clarence goes in jail, he's like, yep, I'm gonna kill my brother, but he'll be better off in heaven. Um, And then Act Two, Scene Two, Act One, Richard goes to Anne, who um, is the wife, I believe, of Henry VI, who Richard killed. And he's like, marry me. And she's like, you killed my husband. And he's like, yeah, but marry me and we'll be happy. And she agrees, basically. Um, and then bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. That's the gist of it. Act One, Scene Three, I believe, is the curse. I'd have to look at this over again. But that's where Richard and people are at court and everyone's like fighting and complaining and just like freaking out. And Margaret, I believe, is the one who curses. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Margaret's just like, I curse thee. And says that like everyone connected to Richard is gonna die horribly. Which kind of is like the prophecy that then the play begins to fill out. It's very Macbethy, which is interesting because I don't know if Kirsty worked on Macbeth recently, but she keeps saying like, "Oh, it's so much like Macbeth." Um, yeah, and then at the end of Scene Three, Richard's like, "Hey, I need to get some murderers to kill my brother." And the murderer's like, "All right." And then Scene Four, is the murderers killing Clarence. Clarence is like, I'm so repentant. I've done bad things. Everybody has done bad things in this play. But he's like, oh, man. And then the murderers come, they're like, we're here to kill you. And he's like, no, 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 no. Tell my brother Edward not to kill me. And they're like, yeah, send for Richard. Richard will save me. He loves me. And then they're like, we come from Richard. And he's like, what? That's impossible. Then they kill him. And the murderers are like unsure themselves. They're like, wow, should we do it? Should we do it? I don't know. And so they're a little wishy-washy, but they end up stabbing him dead. Then Act Two, Scene 1 and 2, we're not doing that one, but um, that's when Edward dies, I believe. He finds out that Clarence was killed, and he's like, "Oh no, it's my fault. I'll die." Um, and then Act Two, Scene 3 is that last one was Act Two, Scene 1 and 2. Act Two, Scene 3 are the citizens being like, "Man, this is rough," because now that Edward is dead, it's gonna be his like kid, his young children who becomes the king. And like, there's a good line that says, like, weary, woe to that land that's governed by a child. And the other citizens like, yo, so stood the state when Henry the Sixth was crowned in Paris, but at 9 months old, right? Henry the Sixth became king when he was 9. Um, but they're like, whoa, woe be it. And that guy had purpose, had reason. Third citizen. And then Act Two, Scene 4 is a scene we are doing, and the bishop's there, and the Duchess is there, and Elizabeth is there, and oh yeah, they're just talking about Richard. And there's this idea that Richard was born with teeth, right? His little cousin, no, his nephew, who is York, said, Mary, they say my uncle grew so fast that he could gnaw a crust at 2 hours old. So he was born with teeth. He was cunning and biting from a young age. And it's this idea, this painted picture of this monstrous, villainous boy who they kind of made him into. And then everyone's like, yeah. And the Duchess, his mother, is like, that boy sucks. And everyone hates Richard. Then Act 3, Scene 1, we are not doing. Um, but that is where the children um, are put into the tower, supposedly to keep them safe. But basically, Richard's locking them away. And then Hastings betrayed. Well, he apparently betrays Richard. He's like, cut off his head. Something we will determine. And look, when I am king, claim thou of me the earldom of Hereford and all the movables whereof the king my brother was possessed. So Buckingham's like, he got his back. Act 3, Scene 2, we are also not doing. Um, but that's when people are like, Hastings, don't, you're gonna die. Things are going poorly. And then I think something happens. Act 3, Scene 3, we're not doing, but oh, that's Ratcliffe killing Rivers and Grey. Um, there's more people Richard's killing. And Ratcliffe's kind of like the executioner. Act 3, Scene 4, um, also not doing, but Bishop of Ely is there. And is this? Now, noble peers, the cause why we are met is to determine of the coronation. In God's name, speak. When is the royal day? So they're deciding when to um, make him king. And there's this talk about like more people are going to die. And Hastings isn't dead yet, but he's going to be soon. Well, he's going to be threatened soon. Um, and at the end, he does. And Ratcliffe kills him. He's like, come, come, dispatch, 'tis bootless to exclaim. And then Hastings says, O bloody Richard, miserable England, I prophesy the fearfullest time to thee that ever watched age hath that ever wretched age hath looked upon. Come, lead me to the block, bear him my head. They smile at me who shortly shall be dead. Sick. Yeah, so Hastings was one of the people cursed, and now he's dead. Act 3, Scene 5. We're not doing Richard and Buckingham in rotten armor. Marvel ill-favored. Come, cousin. Um, 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 um. More people upset. Oh, is this where he's crowned? Maybe? No, I don't think yet. Anyway, then Act 3, Scene 6 is a quick little sonnet by the scrivener. Scrivener, yeah, which is like a little scribe. Which is basically like, this is bad. And then Act 3, Scene 7, um, Richard's talking to Buckingham. Buckingham's like, hey, people like we were saying that you're going to be king, and the people were silent. And he's like, shoot, I got to do something to win the king, the people's hearts, so that I am not hated by my kingdom. Excuse me, stop sprinkling up, please. Um, yeah, I feel like this is taking way too long. This was going to be a short video. Ha ha. 30, 15 minutes. Anyway, um, 4-1, all the women get together and they're like, this is crazy. And they start checking things out. Tyrrell comes and he, oh, in 4-2, Buckingham hesitates when Richard, at the moment he's crowned, he's like, you know what bothers me? Those two kids are in the Tower of England and they technically are above me in um, royalty. So let's kill them. And Buckingham's like, really? And then he's like, "Oh, oh, you're doubting me, huh? You're okay, yeah, I don't trust you anymore." And then he gets Tyrrell, this guy, to just kill the kids. And Tyrrell's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm all about that." And then Buckingham's like, "I got to get out of here while I still have a head." And then Tyrrell kills the kids, and then Margaret and Elizabeth and the Duchess, they're all just like, what has happened? And it's just like, this is wild. And then Richard comes, he's like, "Hey, girls, what's going on?" And then he tries to get Um, oh, he killed his wife at one point somewhere before that. He's like, just tell everyone my wife is sick, which means I'm gonna kill her and say she got sick. Um, and then Richard talks to Elizabeth and is like, let me marry your daughter. And she's like, you killed her father and you've done all these awful things. And he's like, yeah, but like, I want her to be my wife. And she's like, crazy, crazy guy. And then there's this guy named Richmond who starts bringing together an army. And then Buckingham, like, kind of gathers an army together, but it doesn't really work. And he gets captured, and Richard won't even talk to him. And then he just gets killed. And then it's the battle, and Richmond's like, yeah, let's bring back England. And Richard's like, I will kill everyone. And then he loses his horse. He's like, my horse, my kingdom for a horse. Um, oh, that was before. Then the ghosts come and they haunt Richard, and they're like, "You're the worst." And he's like, "Am I? Am I bad?" Um, that's really minimizing it. He says that I myself have done unto myself. I know, alas, I rather hate myself for hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain, yet I lie. I am not. Fool of thyself, speak well. Fool, do not flatter. Big contradictions and stuff. And then Richmond's like, we will bring in goodness back to England, and Richard will die. And Richard's like, I will fight a horse, my kingdom for a horse. And yeah, then he gets beheaded, I think. And Richard's like, England! That's the gist of it. Not very good. So here are my notes. So about the Victorians, and then these characters, like, they don't have boundaries. When we were talking about these royals just fighting over things, they don't have they don't have emotional regulation. They're not healthy. So they're just fighting and killing each other and cursing each other and doing all these crazy things, and there's no integrity besides maybe Stanley and further down the line Richmond. But dreams are really important in this play, and so are these curses and these ideas. I should read the book Braiding Sweet Grass. Apparently it's life changing. And then, like we were talking about the murderers, and as they're contemplating on murdering Clarence, they're funny and they're actual characters. And it's like, why would he make this dastardly deed funny, Shakespeare? And it's interesting. It's fulfilling. It's bringing in these moral and intellectual questions and confusions. Like, why do we allow these things? Then we had lunch, and then we got back to reading, and there's this longing to obtain something more. All of these people want more, and Richard gets stuck in the addiction of power, and it's like I can't have those boy princes in the tower because one day they could claim their rightful spot as king. I must kill them, and I can't be okay with this. I must kill that person and that this blah 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 and all of that. Um, and there during the time of Shakespeare, there were 13 million witches who were burned. Um, and so the idea that people are called a witch is like a weighty accusation because witches were being burned and drowned and killed in all sorts of ways. Um, oh, a good thought is Shakespeare because of the text, not in spite of it. So I think sometimes we think, oh, it's the plot that's good, or it's that, or that's this, but it's the text itself, and we use the text. We want the text. Have it uphold us, right? Yeah. For this project, we aren't going to work. Oh, like for the read through, that little read through, we don't want to mark it, just like not go full out. We want to do full voice and see what we discover in the process. And when we're doing these read throughs as well, feel the iambic, feel all of that. And if you do it to full voice, there's lots of discoveries to be had. Don't be tentative, get it wrong, trip over yourself, go over the top. The language can bear it. I love that phrase. The language can bear it. It can bear our choices and these interesting things. Um, Beckett, I believe Samuel Beckett, says fail and then fail better, right? So as we're making these mistakes, that's great. Make mistakes and then make better ones next time. But you're still going to fail, right? Open your mouth, be loud, make choices. Clarity is huge. Shakespeare will teach you to be a better actor, right? Because you're so focused and in the text and discovering and finding things. Kirsty was saying how she's done long runs and Shakespeare never leaves you wanting. There's always more to be had. There's always more to be discovered. You can do a 7-month run and it just more and more is found and discovered. Um, and there's some interesting rhymes that comes up. And Kirsty was saying that the characters are either rhyming for a reason, right? There's like purpose and wit to it, or they're rhyming because they can't help it. Giles, someone said that. Um, and then also yielding can be active. It doesn't have to be passively like, okay, I give it up, but it's the action of yielding. And then for our homework, we're gonna have to start like doing the work, right? Figure out what our character wants, who, what, why, where, when. Find our scene objectives, action it, right? Each line you can have 2 to 3 actions, so really break it down, do the scansion and parsing. Um, and also hitting the consonants can help you access the emotion. She was talking about how in one role there are all these H's and it's and that H is really hitting those kind of brings the breath and the emotion into it. And she's like, it really helped her access the weeping tears. I feel like I'm really gravelly and I'm just vocal fry. And then Kirsty said to me, I was reading a bit, and it was this character um, who like didn't want to offend uh, Richard. I think I was reading for Stanley. Yeah, and Richard or Catesby, one of them. And Richard basically like it says, "I'll kill your son if you don't do what I say." And I was like, oh, but the kind of that like more modern, like stepping over myself to appease him sort of thing. And Christy was like, bring it, center it, do it a little more. And I think I did it well. But at the end, she said, well done, lovely stuff, you. So that made me feel good. Anyway, that was the gist of it. This, what could have been a 10-minute video, is now a half-hour video. Sorry. But, yeah, so it was basically just a read through and then just talking about it and going on tangents and just discovering what we want to do with it. So, all is well. This is going to be a good day. Friday, 7 a.m., waking up in the morning. It's almost 7 a.m. Almost 7 a.m., already up in the morning. Anyway, love y'all. Have a wonderful day, time, life, choices.